I want to bring in Jim McGregor. He is APCO Worldwide's Greater China chairman. And Jim, other businessmen have been going there in recent months, but this is the first person from the United States from a business background who's met with President Xi. What does that tell you, especially some of the commentary that she made afterwards?
Well, it shows that they are trying to have a bridge with the American people because things are so off kilter with the governments. Look, Gates went there on global health with the Gates Foundation, and they talked about global health. He was involved in making a donation to a drug discovery center. I mean, that's a good thing if we're connected on global health. Remember, we just had a pandemic where we would have been nice to have better communications. Not that China was very cooperative at that time, but I think China's in a very weak position right now. So there's more bluster coming out of them. Their economy's in real trouble, and they need engagement. So I think we got to just keep moving ahead and have our companies de-risk and pull back on things that could be threatening to our tech leadership, but keep the commercial lane open because the market's that important.
You said that things are very bad between the governments at this point. That's probably the case, but you do have Blinken visiting, and you've got Yellen saying a lot of things lately, like decoupling would be a big mistake. She used de-risking, just like you did. But decoupling seems to be a particularly painful word from the Chinese perspective. Is there a movement afoot for these two governments to actually try and mend fences?
I think there is very much so. Remember, we've got the G20 coming up in India in September, and then in November, we've got APEC in San Francisco, where I think the Chinese government would like to be able to have Xi there and be meeting with Biden, et cetera. And so I think everybody's trying to settle things down a bit, despite some of the rhetoric coming out of Beijing. And I think we've got to look, we have to do it. This is a competition between systems. It's a competition economically and in tech, and we got to be pushing on that competition. But we got to be talking to it. We talked to the Russians during the worst times in the Cold War. This is a new type of Cold War.
We talked to the Russians during the Cold War, but we didn't have the same sort of economic partnerships. We didn't have the same sort of economic codependence. We didn't have companies from America that had set up operations in China to such an extent. And we didn't have Russian software companies that were collecting data on Americans at the same time. I mean, this is a much trickier situation. And there are serious concerns that have been raised about security, not just from, from people who actually understand and who have seen the secret data that goes back and forth, who have seen how these operations work. Should we take those concerns and threats seriously? And how do you continue to operate in an economic cooperation when you know the other side might be trying to game the system or spy back and forth? Not that spying is unusual or new, but we know an awful lot about what they've tried to do recently.
Absolutely. I mean, all of the hacking that has gone and the technology theft and the forced technology transfers, those are real and they're serious, and we have to be aware of it. No business should be pandering to China. No business should be doing business in China that could threaten our tech leadership. We have to unwind certain things we do in China, but we also have to stay in that market because it's that important if you want global leadership in many businesses. And there's a lot of business we do in China that is just normal business, whether it's retail or clothing or, God knows what. That can keep going. And I think we need that. And actually, China needs it. China needs foreign investment now more than ever because their economy is in real trouble. So it's complicated. Yes, it's complicated, but it's not black or white. It's not like, okay, let's pull out tomorrow. We pull out tomorrow. Not the rest of the world doesn't agree with us on our view of China in many ways.